What's up, YouTube? This is Yobi1 checking in, and today I am going to make part 2 of the videos that are kind of talking about preparing to leave for Japan. So last time that we chatted, I was talking to you guys about, things to bring, physical things, stuff to prepare, but today I thought we'd talk a little bit about, the mental things to kind of think about and prepare yourself for, especially if it's your first time going. So, there's lots of things that you have to kind of do and think about and prepare yourself for. Things like culture shock, things like just being homesick, and, things like missing your friends and your family and stuff. And then there's just different ways to cope about it. So, I guess we'll start off, especially when you get close to leaving for a year or even an indefinite amount of time, you're going to have to kind of weigh things like your relationships, especially if you're dating somebody and they're not going with you. And you know, I've had a lot of friends who've gone down that route, and long distance doesn't typically usually work for them. So it's kind of a difficult thing. It's something you're gonna have to think about when you're thinking about leaving and picking up and moving away. Even a year is a long time, and a lot can change within a year. And sometimes it's maybe better to, end your relationship peacefully and amicably, rather than kind of go over and feel kind of tied down and feel not that you want to cheat on them or anything, but you don't want to be tempted while you're gone. So that's kind of one issue. And I wasn't in a relationship before I left, but I kind of was into somebody before I left the original time. And my first little bit of Japan, I was just not really getting out there and meeting people, and I was being hesitant, and wasn't really opening up as much as I should have. So that had kind of an impact. So that's my kind of first bit of advice, is to kind of evaluate relationships and how the distance will affect them. Things like family, that doesn't change. Family is going to stay, usually consistent and stuff. And it's important to stay in contact with them. It's really easy for somebody who's leaving to go study. You're going to be changing your life. You're going to have a lot of exciting things happening. You're going to be, in a new world. Lots of lights, excitement, things to do and see. But pretty much everybody is just going to, your family are going to just be missing you, because the only thing that's changed in their lives really is the fact that you're not there. So you kind of have to think about that. You might not be homesick, and you might not be as sad because you're so busy and excited at times, but your family's going to be missing you, and they're going to be homesick. So you kind of have to think about their needs too, and try to make the effort to call home. With cheap calls with Skype and things like that, there's really no excuse not to be calling people. And people complain about the time zone difference, but there's ideal times to call people. Whether it be early morning before you start work, or maybe later at night when they're waking up. So really, that's something that you kind of have to actively do and try to plan it out. For myself, when I first left for a year, I found myself going a month sometimes, or a month and a half, without even calling home and talking to my family. And that's not really a good thing to do. Especially because your family loves you, and a lot of the times they're the ones that are there to support you and help you. My mom and my sister saved my butts a million times when I was getting broke and stuff like that, and they were the ones that made it so I was even, able to go. So, kind of think about that before you go. Your friends. So, one thing, especially with the impact of Facebook nowadays, you're going to be watching pretty much everything that your friends are up to and your friends are doing and things like that. And you might start feeling, I'm missing out at, what's going on at home and blah, blah, blah. But no, you're not. You're not really missing out. Like, lots of stuff is going to be happening, and you're going to see things on Facebook, and maybe you're going to see, I'm missing that birthday party, or I'm missing my friend do this, or I'm missing this trip. But in the end, you're really not missing out on much. Not to say that what they're doing isn't important and things, but you're doing really cool, important things too. So just kind of stay focused on that. A lot of the times when people are going away for a year and they think about coming back home in the middle for summer or Christmas, I just say don't. It's not worth it. I think that going for a year, especially, just stay that year, save that money, use it to travel more where you are, and really cherish that time. Because when you get back, some things might change, but typically not a lot's going to change that much in a year. and then you'll have a lot of things to talk to your friends about. So that's my number one advice. Don't go home in the middle of your study abroad, or if you're moving or working, wait at least a year or two. If you're going for 2 years like I am, I might go back like the second Christmas or something like that, but really just kind of stay and enjoy your things. um, let's talk about culture shock. So when you first get to Japan, you're going to be really excited. You're going to be like, oh wow, I'm here, I can't believe I'm here after all these years and things like that. But you are going to have that initial wave of euphoria, and then the difficulties of everyday life will set in, and you might feel a little bit down sometimes, and that's inevitable. The reality of Japan and culture shock is that it's going to go, you're going to have your highs, you're going to have your lows, and you're going to have your highs, and you're going to have your lows. The number one thing is important is to recognize it and realize that eventually you're going to come out of that low, and then you're going to be high for a little while. Just joking, but anyway, you're going to hit a high for a little while, and that's really good. But don't forget that. Stick it out through the lows. So, a lot of the first month you're going to just maybe not understand what anybody's saying to you, or you might be confused, or the lifestyle change might impact you if you're not used to eating that weird food. But you got to give everything a shot, and you got to prepare yourself mentally for that. Be as open as you can. I think I've said it before. 9 times out of 10, when I originally wanted to say no to something and I tried it, 9 times out of 10 it was amazing, and it was one of the most memorable things that I did. So you have to really prepare yourself to have an open mind when you head abroad, and just try everything, and just keep reminding yourself that there's a million people that would kill for the chance to do whatever you're doing. That's I can tell from the comments, it's so many people's dreams to go study abroad, work abroad, live abroad, especially in Japan. So don't take that for granted. Remember, put everything you have into it, 110%, and then you'll be all good. So those are the kind of things that I would recommend to look at preparing before you go to Japan. Mentally, I think that's the gist of it that I would say. Prepare for things like, making Skype calls, plan a schedule, having a concrete plan helps with that and helps you be consistent with that. Culture shock, keep things, bring things that are comforting to you. I brought peanut butter. That was the thing that I was missing, and I would just eat a peanut butter sandwich, and that's like one of my favorite things to eat. So little things like that help pick you up. You know, don't Another thing that you're gonna have to prepare yourself for mentally, and I kind of talk about this before. When I first went to Japan, I really felt like I wanted to become, not Japanese, but I wanted to be really, really, truly accepted to the culture. But you're gonna have to prepare yourself for not racism, but those boundaries and those barriers that come with the Japanese people and their way of thinking, because it is a different culture. So, some like Loco said in his book, or any foreigner knows, like the invisible seat next to you on the train and things like. Don't let those things keep you down and get you frustrated, because you're going to meet a million people that want to talk to you and be your friend and chill and hang out. And those one or two instances where you don't feel as accepted aren't going to, blacken your experience. So you just got to keep your head up and keep reminding yourself how sweet your friends and the people are that are going to be there to support you and make you feel really welcome. I was super lucky. I had some amazing friends, and they went out of their way to make me feel welcome. They showed me around, they brought me into their groups, and those are unforgettable bonds, right? So those one or two instances when an old person doesn't want to sit next to you on a train, or you might hear, two high school girls say something about you behind your back, but they say good things usually. But anyway, even if they're like talking like you can't understand them and stuff, it's kind of funny sometimes, and I enjoy that. I enjoy and I cherish being the kind of foreigner in Japan now, because it's a really unique experience. Not that you're a celebrity or anything, but you are viewed as special, and people are going to be instantly excited to see you. Don't let that get to your head, though. Don't overthink people's kindness sometimes, because a lot of foreigner guys that I've seen, Japanese girls are nice. They want to talk to you. They want to be your friend, but they all don't want to be your girlfriend. So that's something that I've seen a lot of people get kind of bummed out with, is that they're like, oh, this girl's so nice. She wants to talk to me. She wants to message me. But, sometimes they're just looking for a friend and a language partner, and you got to make sure that you don't push that too far sometimes. So, just speaking from first-hand experience, not everybody is going to love you as much as you think. So, I think that's it for this video, and I'll post another video in the next day or so. 皆さんじゃあね。